Hey, it's Chris from Legion Games. Let's talk talk. This is going to be the first video of my 5 and 5 reviews, meaning 5 points, 5 minutes on a subject, on a game that you want to know about. So let's go. Patrick Rothfuss of the critical D&D fame via Acquisitions Incorporated. No, as the writer of The Name in the Wind and then The Wise Man's Fear, invented this game called Talk within his world. And then he went to James Ernest and said, "Hey, can you make a game based off of what I wrote about in the book?" Holy crap. I mean, that is a recipe for disaster all over the place, frankly speaking. The fact that they even made a palatable game, with that being the origin story of Tak in the physical form, is freaking fantastically, unexpectedly ridiculous. The fact that it is perhaps one of my top 3 abstract games and arguably one of the best abstract games out there on top of that is just icing on the cake. Point number 2 is the fact it is just beautiful to look at while you're playing it. No matter what set you have, whether you have one of the simple sets like I do, or you have one of those deluxe versions, or you can just make it yourself. There are plenty of crafters out there that have made complete sets that are absolutely gorgeous. That is just an added value to it. Talk is not one of the deepest abstract games out there, but it is one of the most fun that I have. Now, what I will say as point number 3 is inevitably, when you play Talk, unlike some of the other abstract games that I've played, there will be moments of aha or gotcha, because that's just what ends up happening. I have not played with a single person in the, almost triple digits numbers of games that I've played of this, where one of us in a series of games has not had one of those duh moments, and that's going to happen in Talk. And if you can't handle that, you should probably stay away. Point 4. I feel like Talk, similar to many other abstract games, but in particular compared to other ones that I've played when I've played back and forth, is very much like, if you've ever done crossword puzzles, you have to have a certain mindset when you do the crossword puzzle, because sometimes the way the clues are presented to you is just a little bit off kilter in terms of the twist that they put on it. Classic example of what I mean is they'll put a clue out there in a crossword puzzle for strips in a club, 5 letters. Well, where does your mind go first? It doesn't go to the fact that they're talking about a club sandwich and the answer is bacon, does it? That's what Talk does to my head, is it makes it more elastic. It increases the need for that elasticity when I'm thinking about my moves 1 or 2 moves in advance. Lastly, Talk is not only deep, but it's also shallow in the sense that I can get it to the table with non-gamers, I can get it to the table with heavy gamers, and it's just plain fun, because that's what really matters. That's why I think, as you know, the point number 5 is we should be teaching Talk instead of checkers. Talk is the checkers killer, and I think it should be done at lower level education and just games for kids even, because it's improving that elasticity that I just mentioned, that out of the box thinking, that creative thinking that I don't think checkers can really duplicate or even come close to doing. So it would just fire checkers completely off the board for me from that side of things, excuse the pun. Do I recommend Talk? Absolutely. If it was one of the games I had to restart my collection with, it would wholeheartedly get an endorsement. It would be that or Hive. It's that highly thought of from my personal perspective. So if you have not played Talk, I suggest you check it out. If you like abstract games, I highly recommend it as well. The biggest criticism I see is that at the very highest of levels, it is not a 50-50 split in terms of first player advantage. It's like 55-45 or 60-40. I'm not playing at that level. You probably aren't either. Get it. It's fun. Don't worry about that. Check it out. Thanks for watching. 5 and 5.